What is a rubric? So I know that you've heard this term before. Don't forget, look at the rubric. You're getting grade based on the rubric. But do you know what a rubric is and how to use it? A rubric is a guide. A rubric tells students or people what's expected of them in order to receive the highest score. A rubric tells us what is important and allows us to distinguish between the different levels of performance. Let's look at this rubric that is actually used in a school. This rubric is used for lunchroom behavior. It determines on, whether or not the kids get rewarded or they have a punishment. So when we look at the level 1, this is the lowest one that you can receive. This is not where you want to be. And so waiting in line, are you using your outside voice? Are you touching, pushing, shoving, front C's, back C's, using all that? Or are you up here using stage whispers, which is just above a whisper? Do you join line at the end as you enter the cafeteria? Okay. This is where you want to be. So in order to receive the highest score, this is what you would need to be able to do. Now, there's always an in between the highest and the lowest. So if you were a level 2, you're using an inside voice. But occasionally there's somebody holding spots for another person or people are cutting in line. So you can see the different levels between 3 and 1. And then you have the expectation for table manners. Here's the highest expectation. This is what they expect. And this is where they would be if this is the behaviors that they see. Same with noise level and dismissal prep. So you have to decide whether or not you want to be a level 3 or a level 1. And that goes for a lot of the rubrics that we're going to be looking at. Now here is a rubric that judges use to score the winning chocolate chip cookie. So if you want to have first place ribbon and win the contest, it is very important to see what the judges are looking for. So think of it as a rubric is kind of like a cheat sheet. If you do this, this is the score you will get. So you decide what score you want to receive. And you can see they're judging the size of the cookies, the number of chocolate chips, what's the texture, and the taste of the cookie. So you want to have more than 21 chips in that cookie. You want it to be soft and moist, lots of flavor. Good. Now, there isn't one here for size, but if it's more than 3 inches across, the highest score you can get here is a 3, because they don't want like this crazy, foot-long cookie. That'd be just crazy. They just want a small cookie more than 3 inches across, and the highest level that you can receive for the size is a 3. But then the rest, the highest you can receive is a 4. So again, you decide what score you want to receive. You know now what they're looking for. Here's another type of rubric. Let's take a look at this one. This is like coming into class. Do you, let me back up. So for this one, you're exhibiting 2 or more. That means you have 2 or more of these behaviors. When you walk in, you get a 3. If you're only doing 1 of these, you get a 2. And if you're not doing a thing, you get a 1. Okay. So for this one, it gives you a list and you want to make sure that you're doing 2 or more to receive the highest score. Now, let's take a look at what's expected of you when it comes to your writing. You decide. Do you want to get the highest score or not? This is the rubric that I will be using to grade your writing on. As we go through the school year, you will see in Schoology many types of rubrics. They explain what is expected from you. When you think about it on your report card, do you want to receive M's, P's, which are okay, I's, which means, whoo, you need improvement, or you're not doing well on that grade level? So when you're looking at a small moment narrative, to receive the highest score that I'm going to be grading, and this is the rubric that I'll be grading your writing next week, you wrote a personal narrative about a small moment in time. You wrote an interesting lead that grabs the reader's attention. You divided the text into paragraphs to show when time passed, the topic changed, or a different character spoke. You included sufficient amount of transitions. You used dialogue to show what character said and punctuated the dialogue correctly. Used lots of details that help a reader to be able to visualize the story. You used words that showed what was happening rather than just telling. The writer used strong and interesting words. They wrote an interesting end. The spelling reflects editing and only has grade level appropriate errors and uses correct punctuation. So if you are able to go down through here and look at your writing, you can almost determine what score you're going to get. That also means that you need to be honest with yourself. If you're like, yeah, well, I wrote a lead. I thought it was good, but is it interesting? Okay, and so you can kind of go back and forth here between a 1 or a 2. This is why that we've taken so much time writing this one personal narrative story, because I wanted you guys to learn every step along the way so that you can have every opportunity to receive the highest score.